Hi everyone, I'm just doing this video to show people what I've been doing to try and get signatures for the e-petition on the government website. So here goes. My website is Dopamine Justice Alliance. You can just Google it so people can contact me there. I'm also working with Dopamine Agonist Action Group. That is the name of the website. That is a group of four of us working together, centralizing people's accounts of their impulse control disorder side effects. So eventually everyone will be signposted to that anyway. So this is an introduction to my e-petition. You can have a look at this in your own time and just pause the video. There's also a section with the map, and I'll come on to that later and explain how I use it. This is a QR code that links people to the e-petition. So if you're out and about, or there's a Facebook page where it's difficult for people to share the petition or my story or your story, then they could potentially use this as well. I can send anything like this to people. And also, just to let you know, this program that I have here that I'm using is really easy for me to take a photo of anything, including on the internet or whatever you want me to do, and send it. It just takes 2 seconds and that's it. If you don't have this software, then you have to use your phone to take a photo of the screen, which is not ideal. These are the types of groups that I've been looking at. So the community groups are the main ones that are getting involved. Also, anything connected with uncensored. I know it's not great, but you know you're not going to be tied down by different group rules. You're not going to have to necessarily seek approval or wait to post. So those are good. Rant, moan, and grumble are also great ones. I did actually get most success from the Inverness rant post that I did. You can see that from the e-petition map. Just from that one post alone, it went crazy. I got about 650 signatures for that one. And I think it's just because there's a failing hospital up there, Raigmore Hospital. They kept talking about it, so I think that's why they jumped on board. And this is how you create strategies. So I then started looking at all the other hospitals in the UK that are in need of improvement or are under special measures. And then I started looking at the local Facebook pages there. So, you know, there are different ways of getting signatures. I guess you've just got to be a bit open-minded. There's also RLS, restless leg syndrome pages. They're not too bad. Parkinson's pages, they've not been that responsive. Pituitary tumor pages, not that many people. Pretty defensive bunch as well. Dementia pages, they've really not got too involved. Gambling also. ADHD and autism, I am on those pages. I've not sent anything yet. In terms of that, I have ADHD and autism. My dad must have had it too. He didn't have the compulsions before he started these drugs. I have compulsions, so I recognize that, you know, you should not be giving someone with ADHD, okay, it was undiagnosed, but they should not be giving somebody with ADHD who's at risk of compulsions a drug that has a risk of compulsions as a side effect. It's just ludicrous. And people with RLS, restless leg syndrome, they quite often have ADHD, autism, bipolar as well. Dopamine is involved in all of those, so it's usually a sign, and I don't think, in my experience, that when you go to see a doctor with RLS, they think about other neurological disorders on top of that as well. Diabetes groups, I've not done anything yet. I've sent one post and I'm just waiting for it to be approved. Cure to Death, that was definitely a good one. That worked well for me. So yeah, I've already talked about the Inverness page. So yeah, using maps. I've already mentioned the map for the E-Petition. Let me just show it again. So I do use this, particularly around Scotland, as you can see. So this is the Inverness page. I basically got all of these from that. And then I started going down closer to the capital cities. I've not done anything around this area at all. But you can see the Scots, they join. They get on board. They're a great bunch. And also because the communities are smaller, I think it's easy to get onto the Facebook pages of, let's say, 20, 30,000 people, and they engage more. I'll come onto that a little bit later, come onto that more. And then I go onto Google Maps and I basically start looking around at areas that are urbanized. So places like Falkirk, they did well. They got in touch with me and did things. Dunfermline, I've done that one. But there's nothing wrong with repeating these. You can just give your own story. Whether it's something to do with binge eating on these drugs, or somebody that you know, and you just can signpost or mention that, I posted a couple of weeks ago or whatever. But yeah, this is basically what I'm doing. I'm going through the whole of the UK and picking and choosing. I do not focus on big cities. Really, I did do the Sheffield community page. That did pay dividends. That was my first big one. I got 250 signatures from that, but I think that was because it was local. I think a good place to start is if you have been affected by any of this, to start with your local area as well first. That's exactly what I did. It's just an idea, that's all. So when you start looking on Facebook for groups, just be careful with place names. I've made the mistake once or twice. If you're looking for Halifax, and of course there's a Halifax in Canada, I believe. So yeah, just look at the background picture. Hover your mouse over people as well. I'll give you an example in a minute, because that will give you an indication of where they're from. When you look at these different groups, it will say at the side the number of posts a day. So it will say +10, +5, +30. I think once you get to 30 or 50, forget it. Because if you post a story, it will just disappear off the thread in a matter of minutes, and people won't see you. That happened for the Preston page. I was very excited. I thought, wow, there's like 80,000 people here, and not a single response. So just be aware of that. I think keep things medium sized and small, and people will engage. And of course, that's you'll have more time on that page, on that thread at the start. Yeah, just one small thing as well, that you can sometimes ask the admin, and this would be a good thing to do with the small groups, to pin the story. If they pin it, then it stays at the top for longer and people engage with it for longer. It's only happened once with me. That was with the Southampton community group. But, the opportunity is there if admin actually engage with you when you send them a message. So I've already mentioned this. About 30,000 is a really good size to engage with. Posting, when to post. So really good times are usually the times where you don't want to be posting. So early in the morning, when people are scrolling and eating their breakfast, that's a good time. So actually, I kind of try and post quite a few things at 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock, so that it's ready for them in the morning to read. Also evening times and afternoons, basically after the school run, that's where activity picks up again, and the weekends as well. So yeah, it's not great, but that's how it is. Always check the rules of these Facebook pages. Most of them have them. Of course, if it's uncensored, then probably not. So you always need to check that you're not violating the rules. There's no danger of it, because if it's just buying or selling, for example, then there's no point in being there. Right. Sometimes with these Facebook pages, it will show you at the beginning when you say join group, it will give you some questions like, are you from the area? There will be some text boxes. Okay. Now, I don't. Well, if I have to, I will say that I'm not from the area. But what I do is that I just basically try and copy and paste this into those boxes, and that is usually enough for them to say, yeah, okay, come on in. Best to be honest, really. So, and I can send you these as well. The text. You don't need to write it yourself. Yep, I've just mentioned that one. Yeah, when you're in doubt, if you're not sure if it's because there's a Facebook page that I've seen recently, looks good, but it says that there are children who use it as well, so you need to be careful. If you're not sure, send a message to the admin. Don't bombard them. Just take a note of when you sent them a message and just leave it at that. I'll show you the spreadsheet that I use myself, which is really, really helpful so you don't get lost with everything. I mean, you don't want to be bombarding these admins. Some won't reply at all. In fact, most of them don't. Some will just approve your post and you'll see it. And without ever replying to you, but that in itself is basically them saying that it's okay without providing a response. Next page. When you're searching private and public groups are better. It's easier for people to press the share button, which I'll demonstrate it all a little bit later. I always ask people to share. Quite often they'll say that they've signed. Basically, if somebody hasn't said that they've signed, in the engagement, when I start messaging them, I ask them to sign. If they say that they have signed, I'll then ask them to share. If they have signed and shared, I then ask them to urge the people that they live with to do the same. So I always ask for a little bit more each time. And I do have my own set of texts that have been produced mainly from AI. So this is the story about my dad, for example, which is what I use to get people engaged. What else do we have here? This is the same, but directed towards Parkinson's groups. I remember using that one now. But anyway, you can see what I'm trying to do. This is the one for Doncaster groups. This one here, sometimes just people say, oh, well, why didn't you just stop taking the drugs? Or why didn't he? And so this is my response to that. I just feed all my thoughts into AI and then it just churns it out for me. These are all the links to the BBC News articles, which are useful to send. It keeps people engaged. I don't always send all of them. There are two articles in particular, for example. So this one here and this one here, which basically shows that we're all in trouble because the pharmaceutical companies have not exactly been telling the truth. Another thing that I do as well, for example, yeah, I like to send a quick thank you message to anybody who's signed or shared. And sometimes I send them a photo. I've got a photo of my dad and me cheersing people, so that's what I send with this one. And then I've got another photo with this one, which basically shows that I'm a big person, and that I try and sit on people if they refuse to sign. That is actually this one here. You're more than welcome to use any of my photos or whatever you need to get signatures, really. So yeah, let's see what else I've got here. Yeah, so messages that I sent to admin to try and get them to agree. I'm not sure this is the best way forwards because it's a huge, long narrative of what happened, and you might want to send this to admin if there's like 10,000 people perhaps, but anything more than that, probably not. Here's for diabetes. Again, this is dementia and community pages. I've just improved things as I've gone along. Here's another one to send to admins. That's where I've actually posted the story, asked for signatures, and it says it's pending approval. A lot of these Facebook pages, you will get that with your initial post until admin approve it. Once they approve it, you can then start replying and posting again a week or 2 weeks later. Don't keep saying the same thing. Don't keep regurgitating the same story. At some point down the line, I might get back in touch with these groups and mention how I found out about the pharmaceutical companies have been misleading everybody and why. Another angle could be later the dementia misdiagnosis that my dad had, in my opinion. Right. These are the BBC reported side effects, which is really, really useful. And you can contrast that with the side effects on the leaflets: increased sex drive, excessive gambling, and binge eating. I mean, it just doesn't cut it, does it? People also say, well, why don't you research these drugs? Or you should do. So that's my response to that, with the links to those 2 BBC pages that I mentioned before, which shows that it doesn't matter how much research you do, if the drug companies themselves mislead the public, then we are essentially screwed. Already mentioned that. Yeah, you can tag people from who've liked your posts and who potentially have not signed or shared the petition. Again, I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. What if you find a victim? I've already, at the beginning of the video, showed you the 2 organizations that you should signpost them to. Please make sure you do that. Also, you can add photos when you are writing your post, which is useful. I have photos that you can use as well. If you need any help with doing that, just tell me. You can send me a photo or whatever. I can quickly tidy it up and send it back. I can do flyers and things like that really, really quickly. Using AI, so be careful. I use Perplexity. It's great. I don't use it for everything. Sometimes it's just a good idea to give your thoughts and it will organize them coherently. The other thing is, don't copy and paste personal information with names, just miss them out. But it is basically an efficient way of responding to people. I've already kind of mentioned using your own stories. That just, I guess, legitimizes things a little bit more. It validates everything a bit more. But you're more than welcome to use my story. That's not a problem. Just be aware that there are sometimes idiots around who say stupid things. You can hide them. If you hide them, it means that nobody else in that group can see their message, only their friends, which is great. Right. The Excel spreadsheet I'll show you now. That's basically nearly the last thing that I need to show you apart from the actual Facebook pages. Now here, this is what I have. So I write the name of the Facebook group. I write the number of people who are following. I write when I last posted, which accounts or which narrative I posted. I just also write some additional things here. So if it's a share button, then there's a share button, then it's a priority, really. Those are the best ones, as I mentioned. They're public groups and not private. And then I put a link here as well, which is really, really useful, because what you'll find is if you engage with people in about 2 weeks' time or a week's time, you will no longer be able to find it on your Facebook. So this retains it forever, and you can revisit it later if you need to. So I'll just show you as an example. So this is one that I've done, and there it is. So what I was mentioning before, let me just show you. So yeah, you have the story, you have all the people here who have engaged previously. This is the share button. This is the magic button. I actually say, look, the button, the arrow button is under the pictures or under the story. Okay. Here you can see who's liked it and who hasn't. Sometimes I use two screens for this. If it's really, really, really long, it will then say 10 more, and then you'll need to actually click on it and see them. Okay. So something that could easily be done. Diane Pawson. Let's just have a look. Put it down here. Diane Pawson. There she is. Okay. Looks like that's her. If you're not sure, just check. Yeah, that's her. Okay. So if she's not signed the petition, or she's not engaged in anything, you could just write a list of these people. So you just do that. Boom. So she's been tagged. So whatever you write here now, she will receive it. And that can also get you some more signatures, but you can't bombard people because eventually there's a danger of being reported and being thrown out of the group, basically. So yeah, there's that. What else do I need to mention? Yes, so going back to this here. Now, how do you actually create a link? That is the important thing. So I will again just show you now as an example. So if I just actually go to that link again. So this is the page that you have to go to. Let's actually go to a recent one here. Pontefract, okay. So yeah, you go to the Pontefract one. You've got to have it in this kind of screen. So then you basically need to copy and then go to your Excel spreadsheet, okay? And as an example here, you then paste, okay? And then you need to say press Control and K. There we go. Right. Now, sometimes you'll have address here and then text to display here. If so, that's great. And then all you need to do is highlight all of this and just change it to link and press return. Okay. And there you go. And that will do it. Another thing that you need to be aware of, I'll just repeat it again. So Control and K. Okay. Sometimes there's no address down here. Sometimes it's just blank like that. Okay. If it is like that, then what you need to do is just copy and paste what you have up here, put it down into the address, and then just like you did before, just press link and you are done. Okay. And other things that I do in this page, so the blue ones are the Scottish ones that I highlighted because they were doing really well. So if it's pending, then I just write it here and then just put the date. If I've messaged admin, then I'll include the information about it. Sometimes you just get tick boxes at the beginning, which they use to approve, like, are you from this area? I I mean, if that's the only tick box that's available, you could potentially say yes, but if you do, I would not then post into that group. I would message admin first. There is a danger that when people look at you and hover their cursor over your profile or even click on it, that they'll know where you're from, and then questions need to be answered or that they will be asked, and it makes things a bit awkward. The Facebook pages themselves. So imagine we go on here and we just choose a place, Carlisle. Okay, I've never looked at Carlisle, so let's just try this. Carlisle. Lovely. Right, so we then need to go on groups. So this is what I spend a lot of time doing, especially in the evenings after people have gone to bed. So public groups, press that. These are the ones that you want to be interested in. The new spotted Carlisle. Let's have a look at 50,000. Not sure about that one. Oh, and definitely not. You're wasting your time. So this is what I was talking about. 90 plus posts a day. Absolutely not. This one, 65,000 with 10 posts a day. That looks good. Okay, so let's have a quick look. Group for Cumbria Crack Facebook members to chat and share news. Well, there you go. Views, events, lost and found. This is where you'll find news from the court across Cumbria too. Okay. So that looks a potential. Now, sometimes, well, in fact, nearly every time, I'll also look through these posts and decide myself, because sometimes the stuff that they write in this description at the beginning does not necessarily match what goes on in the group. It could just be all to do with buy and sell stuff, in which case I don't bother. But if you got a tribute to a man who died here, then that's looking like it might be the type of group who might be compassionate, for example, and might respond to the stories. There's quite a few crime things here. And there might be, in fact, you quite often with these kind of groups, you'll find that there are journalists embedded as well. So, yeah. In terms of the members, let's just have a quick look. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, location. So these are the admin people that you can potentially message. But yeah, you got to be careful. You can see here, so you went to the University of Sheffield. We've got Cumbria Crack. Oh yeah, she's a reporter. So you can see here, we know the location of the person. That's why it's best to be honest. Sometimes these Facebook groups, you'll see a load of pictures at the top here, and just hovering your cursor over them will give you an idea of where the people are from. And sometimes you'll just think, well, this is all USA, forget it. Sometimes you have also information about what's acceptable and what isn't on the featured section as well. But that basically is about it. Now let's just see, join the group. Right, so there you go. What is your favourite lake? Oh, well, in Cumbria, I'd say Wastwater. I agree to the group rules. Be kind or courteous, no selling, no promotions or spam, charity events, fundraising, yes, no hate speech, moderating comments, good. Do not edit a post after it has been approved, no swearing or foul abuse. All right, okay, so that sounds good for me. So I've done that. Request to participate is pending approval. Okay, so then I go Cumbria Crack Group 65.1, Cumbria Crack Group 65.1, Cumbria Crack Group, Cumbria Crack Group, Cumbria Crack Group. And what was it again? We'll just put 61k. I can't remember what it was. And then I put here 9th of June. And then here simply pending approval. Okay, and I'll wait a few days, and if nothing happens, then I might message the admin. It's as simple as that, really. So then we go back here. Sometimes you get these other, in fact, you'll often get these other ones here, so you can go through them. Look Keswick Cumbria join group. You can go crazy. Really, I mean, it's £74,000 and only 74,000 members and only 7 posts a day. This is how you start getting addicted. So, let's go for it. Needs to be on that one. Oh, maintains this group as a safe space for older people and those with disabilities. Oh, yes, that could be perfect for us. I like it. You can make a massive difference to their life by working at Eden Country Care. Would you like to work with us? Oh, you know what? I'm just going to put you able to support in some way. You never know without a conversation. So there you go. So, Keswick, Cumbria, get it in. Get it in. Easy peasy. This is how you do it. Keswick, Cumbria, where does that slot in? Slots in about here. Da 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 da. Keswick, Cumbria. Fantastic town, by the way. How many was it again? Let's have a look. 74. Only 7 posts a day. Surely that would get us somewhere. I can't remember whether it said pending, but let's just put it. Let me check. What was it? Yeah, says it down there. So pending approval. Done. Okay. I think you get the idea now. And then once you are ready to post, so I just copy and paste from Microsoft Word. I try and, so you can see from what I do here, I try and write so that it's not generic. They can hopefully see that it's geared towards their community. So, for example, here I've got where you've got to write the town name at the start here, and then twice more down here. And again, that, I guess, keeps people engaged. And let me just show you one final thing. If you want to actually post, so this is one here, so you can write your post there as an example. So this is what I do. Let's just get this one here. And it's very much like drilling for oil. Some, you'll get virtually nothing. Others, you'll get loads. Now, the important thing is that when you post something, you don't just leave it. Once it is approved, you'll get a notification showing that. And you need to engage with people. You need to actually respond to them, and to do it quite quickly. Don't just post something and then disappear for 2 weeks or a weekend. It's not going to work. Basically, you engaging with people and having information at the ready so that you can do it, whether it's statistics or photos or whatever it is in your story. If you can engage quickly, then you will get more signatures. Basically, you'll double the number of signatures from those that say that they will sign and share. So there you go. And you can, in this particular page, you can press return and paragraph it and make it all nice. And then once I do that, I can then also, if needs be, just drag my photos across like that, so it's not the E-Petition. I think if people see E-Petition straight away, they'll think, right, forget this. All right, and that's it. And I post it. You can post anonymously if you want, but I prefer to be transparent. That's it. Okay, please try and get me 100,000 signatures. That'd be great. I'm happy with just one, to be honest with you. Thanks for your support. Thank you.